Yeah. So, and you see my background. So I'm gonna actually be in Silhouette Studio. So yeah, you should just be able to see me in the circle because I'm gonna be sharing my screen. Let's see. Hey CJ, how are you? After you made the rhinestone templates, how do you save it so you can open it in Cricut? So you would actually, if you're creating a rhinestone template in designs, I'm sorry, not Design Space, Silhouette Studio, what you would do then is save it to your desktop as a SVG. And when you create it, let's take a look, say at this design here. Let me make this bigger. Okay, so say we're working on this design. Once you create your entire design, everything's perfect, you've grouped everything, you're ready to save it to your desktop as an SVG. From there, you will want to make sure this right here, your height and your width, you want to make sure you write those numbers down because when you upload this into Design Space, your image, you're going to have to resize it. Sometimes it will come in just as one dot, and sometimes it'll come in really huge. I don't know the rhyme or reason for that, but yeah, you will want to make sure that you write down your height and your width and then upload it into Design Space. And then from there, you can resize it. And then the cut setting that I use is felt craft bonded. Uh, Hey, Chanel. Let's see. What's your favorite cutter for rhinestone templates? Definitely the Cameo because everything is once I create it and then I could just send it right to my cutter. Now, if I'm working on a large order, I'll have both of my machines going as well as both of my Cameos going as well as my Cricut, and I'll have all three going at once. But I normally use my Cameo 4. Hey, Divine Designs, how are you? Melly, how are you? Danny. All right, y'all, let's jump into it. And again, any questions y'all have, just ask them in the chat. I'll be looking back periodically. So don't think that I'm ignoring your question. I actually have my comments on one screen and then my software that I'm going to be using on another. So I'm going to be looking this way while my camera's over here. All right. So can you guys see my Silhouette Studio okay? This senior 2023 design. Let me move this over. And how many of you guys are new to creating rhinestone templates, or you kind of just wanting a refresher, or you're kind of started but you're at a beginner level? And if you're on the watching on the replay, let me know how familiar you are with Silhouette Studio or just creating rhinestone templates. Learning. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into it, what you guys are here for. And I will be explaining everything as I go. I'm going to go over the rhinestone panel as well, just to kind of give you an overview, just in case you're not familiar with it. and then I'll be talking as I'm creating the design. I'll probably have to do some editing, so I'll show you how to release the rhinestones and how to move things around. So I have a few different designs. I think I have 5 up here. So I have 5 different designs that I'm going to be working on, and then I'll probably just do type one up. I have one that is a custom that I'm going to type up as well. So I'll show you guys how to actually use the different fonts within Silhouette Studio to create your own from scratch. If you just want to make like a phrase or a word or a saying or something like that. All right. So Vanessa says she's new. Sharon new. Chanel is both. Okay. New, but you use Cricut, no problem at all. You can still cut with Cricut. You're just kind of almost like tricking the system a little bit. You can't create them in Cricut or in Design Space, but you can create them in other softwares. Let's see, Karen, beginner, have all the supplies to cut my first template. Yay! All right. Well, hopefully by the time you get off this live, you'll have all, or at least most of the answers to the questions that you might have. And guys, make sure you hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Okay, so here I have up my Silhouette Studio. I have the business edition. Again, you only need the designer edition to have access to the rhinestone panel. The business edition actually just gives you a few more features. Mainly, you're able to cut with multiple Cameo machines at the same time, things like that. So that's the main thing about the business edition that I really liked. If I didn't need to cut with multiple machines, honestly, I would have just got the designer edition. Let's see, Harper Girl. Nuba began this week cutting designs from scratch and placing the rhinestones. All right. I am hooked. Yeah, once you start, you want to turn everything into a rhinestone template. Trust me. Let's see, Melly. Okay, Graph Tech Intermediate. Graph Tech is a really good cutter. Thanks, Patrice, yeah, for helping out with the chat. Yes, everybody, welcome to the chat. You cut 5 designs this week. You know what? When I get on my little kick, I'll just have like 10 different windows open in my Silhouette Studio, and I'll be working on multiple designs at once and start cutting them back to back. Thank you, Nandi. I appreciate you. Sonia, hey, how are you? Okay, this time we're really going to get into it. So if you guys see me looking away from the camera, I'm using a second screen. So I'll be going back and forth and looking at your comments. So just drop your comments in the chat. We have some other crafters, rhinestoners, rhinestone template creators that may be able to also respond to your questions. But I'll definitely be going back every so often to check the chat. CJ, I watch Never Made One. I buy from you and another person. I want to make one. Yeah, definitely. Just kind of start small, like a heart. Like start with certain designs and then start working with SVGs. And one thing I suggest, instead of using the pink rocket flock when you're practicing or when you guys are starting out, go to Amazon, purchase some of their cheap flock. Is maybe like a few dollars, and practice on that. Don't use or waste your good flock practicing. Get you some cheap flock first, okay? And that way, because this stuff is expensive. Let me see. Hey, Cynthia, welcome. Crystal, hey. Craftable things, hey. Yes. Yes. I get so many questions about rhinestone templates. And I don't want to upload a like 2 hour video to YouTube trying to explain everything. So a live is best. Uh, oh, so Sonia, you got the Graph Tech. See, I have the Cameo Plus and the regular Cameo 4. Dimps, hey, what's going on? Okay, you guys, so I have a few different designs. This design I actually created probably a week ago, and I cut out the template and I did not save it, y'all. And so now I got to do it all over again. My feelings was really hurt. Normally I save my designs before I cut them. I think I just cut like 10 templates that day and I just closed everything out. Like I was over it. But yeah, now I got to make this one over. This one I'm going to be doing a craft event, a 2-day craft event at a winery here in Vegas. And so I'm going to make some wine related type of crafts for that. And then we have Easter coming up. So I'm going to work on this little Easter bunny here. And then we have Mother's Day. So that's another one. And then just a soccer ball. I've been getting a lot of requests for sports related templates. So I've been working on cheer and basketball and soccer and things like that. So let's start out easy and then we'll go to hard. So I think honestly the soccer ball would probably be the easiest. But let me adjust my mat size. There we go. So in the rhinestone panel, again, this is Silhouette Studio Business Edition. You only need the designer edition to have access to the rhinestone panel. If you have a Cricut machine, you would just need to, after you create it, save it to your desktop as a SVG. Make sure to write down your height and your width of the image after you've created it. You want to write down that height and that width, and then once you upload it into Design Space, you're going to change the width and the height to what it was when you created it in Silhouette Studio. So the height and the width, that's very important when you're uploading it into Design Space. If you try to resize it once you've uploaded, your template will not cut correct. It will still cut, but the holes will either be too big or too small. So you want to make sure that you adjust that height and that width when uploading into Design Space. So these are just some SVG files that I'm working on right now. And I'm going to go over the rhinestone panel a little bit. Actually, that's my page setup. Here we go. And kind of give you an overview so you're a little bit familiar with the rhinestone panel. Okay, so the first one is going to be your effects. And actually, I'll use this soccer ball as an example. So right now, your first effect is going to be none. So it's just your regular image, your SVG. It's not going to do anything. Your next one is going to be an edge or like an outline fill. And once you click on that, it's going to give you just an outline of everything. And as you can see, there's some cleanup that would need to be done on this, but not a lot. This one came out pretty clean, actually, for the first try. The next one is going to be a linear fill, and that's going to give you more of a filled in fill in of your image for the rhinestones. Now, as you can see, this one I would definitely need to clean it up a little bit, kind of delete some things, and I'll be showing you that as well, how to release the rhinestones and how to add or delete any extra stones that you do or don't want. And then the next one would be the radio fill. And this one is really good if you have something that is round, or that has like, if you're typing in bubble letters or something like that. This one works way better. Works way better. So I would definitely suggest this fill. So you can see how clean this fill looks compared to if I go back to the linear fill, you can see the difference. So that's the different effects that's in the rhinestone panel, or in the rhinestone panel, the different effects. Now the size. So say for instance, I didn't want to do a SS10. And that's another thing within the rhinestone panel. When you're working with any images, whether you're typing them out, creating them yourself, or using an SVG, it's going to automatically default to SS10. So you would have to change your size up here where it says rhinestone size. And so say if I was to change this particular image to SS6, it looks a little bit better, but you're going to be using SS6 stones. So just make sure you're watching this. If you don't want an SS10, if you want something smaller or larger, make sure you're clicking on that actual rhinestone size. And now the spacing. So the spacing is either you can make your rhinestone holes, you can make them further apart or closer together. So if you hit the down button, and I would never suggest to have your stones at 0.000. The lowest I go is 0.10, and that's really pushing it, because when you're pulling your template up off your mat, your flock up off your mat, your image could possibly rip. So you don't want to have the holes too close when you're doing the spacing. It does clean it up, it does make it look better, but just be really careful with as far as how close or how your spacing is, so that way your template won't rip or tear. So freehand, this allows you to draw rhinestones. Now you can either like take your mouse and just hold it, and then it'll kind of leave a trail of rhinestones, or you could just do one click at a time. I don't use this. It's too time consuming. I've tried it. But if you can draw, that's another thing. I can't draw. But if you could draw, that's a good tool that you could use, is the freehand. The release rhinestones, that's what you use when you want to move stones around. So right now, even though my template is converted, or my SVG image is converted into a rhinestone template, it's all grouped together. So in order to ungroup it and have each individual rhinestone where you can delete or add or move things around, you have to select your image and hit release rhinestones, okay? And then the last thing on the panel is the total. So this gives you the total of how many rhinestones you're going to need for that particular size. So right now, say this image is going to need 1,585 stones. So this is letting you know exactly how many stones it's going to take for the particular image that you're working with. So that's just a quick overview of the rhinestone panel. Once you get used to it, you'll have to really play around with it. Start by playing around with different shapes or something like that, so you can get a feel for it. And then again, like I say, before you cut, if you're just beginning, try cutting on, you could use, I believe some people use cardstock. You could use some cheap flock from Amazon before you use your more expensive rocket flock, or even magic flock if you get your flock from the rhinestone world. So I'm going to just jump over to the comments for a minute. Hey, Kim. I'm good, friend. How are you? Let's see. Oh, yep. CJ mentioned that here too. Cardstock. So if you don't want to get that cheap Amazon flock or use your good flock, try cardstock. That's another good one. Thanks for that, CJ. Oh yeah, if you want saving it on your external drives, that's a good idea too. Either save it to your desktop or external drive. That's a good idea, Sonia. I'm just going through, seeing if I missed anybody's questions. Okay, so this first one, I'm going to start on the senior one, and I'm also going to adjust my mat size. There we go. And this one is a SVG, so I do have to select the entire image, and then I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. But I don't want it too huge. So then I'm just going to bring it in a little bit, and I'm good with that. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to remove this heart. I don't want that there. And I might remove the 2023. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to move that off to the side for now. So, okay, so the hat, everything looks good. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work with this, and I'll make my mat a little bit bigger as well for you guys. So one thing you can do, if like this one, it still has some separate pieces here, like the graduation cap, and then this one, I'm just going to select the entire image and then go back to the rhinestone panel and start playing around with the different rhinestone effects. And I am using SS10, but we'll see if I need to convert that. So actually that looks pretty good. And that was the linear fill. I don't like how that looks. And that's the radial fill. That actually looks really good too. Now I am going to have to go in and do some editing on this one. And I just want to look at this one here. Yeah, I think I'll stick with the outline or the edge fill. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the release rhinestones button. I have everything selected. So everything that you need to make any changes to or adjustments, you want to select everything, and then you want to hit this right here, release rhinestones. Now it may take a couple minutes. Well, this isn't a big image. Some images, if it's really intricate, couldn't get that out, or really detailed, it may take a minute for all the stones to be released. So as you can see, it's kind of spinning here. And this is how it looks. So you can see how each individual stone is now separate. It's not grouped together anymore. So then I'm gonna just click off of that. And then from there, then just start making any adjustments that I need. So first right here, I'm gonna go ahead and click on that one, and I'm going to delete that one. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that one back, and I just use the back arrow button up here. So if you wanna undo or redo something, you could just press that here. And I'm gonna try moving this. I'm using the keys, arrow keys on my keyboard. And yeah, so actually I can leave that there. And I'm just gonna move that down and making sure there's good spacing. You don't want any stones to touch. So you don't want any of these overlapping. Otherwise, that's how your template will cut. And it will not necessarily ruin your template, but that particular overlap, it will cut basically two spaces right there, and they'll be overlapped. So it'll be like a bigger hole, which won't fit your stone. So then I'm gonna adjust this cap here a little bit, and this here, I'm gonna expand this here. So I'm gonna start first. I'm going to delete that first one. And then what I'm going to do is, so I'm doing a left click and just copying or highlighting all of these stones here. And then once I have everything copied, I'm going to do a right click and copy. And now I'm going to click off of those and I'm going to do a right click and paste. And then I'm going to just drag these up just to save me a little bit of time versus duplicating all of these. And now you do want to make sure you have everything lined up before you let it go. Once you let it go, you're going to have to move the stones individually. Okay, so I'm going to add a stone here. So to add a stone, you just want to click on one of them, just a left click, and then right click, and then you would select duplicate. And that makes another stone. And you just move it into wherever position or place that you need it. Okay, and that's good. And then I'm going to take a few of these and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to do a left click and paste. And then just move these to where I need them to go. And any adjustments I'll come back and make. And remember, once you let go, well, not once you let go, but once you click off of it, is going to, you're going to have to move each one individually. So we're good there. So now I have a few of them that are touching. So I'm just going to click on it, take my arrow key, and just move those stones over. I also have a couple over here that are touching. And same thing, I'm just gonna move these stones around a little bit so they're not touching. You don't want your rhinestones overlapping because that could mess up your template. Let me see if I missed any comments. Thanks for the tutorial. You're welcome. Okay, so there's still a little bit of cleanup I need to do right here. So I'm actually going to, I'm not liking how this O is looking. So actually I'm going to delete some of these and I may have to add some stones back. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And I'm just clicking on it and hitting delete on my keyboard. You can also, if you need to delete, you can also click on the stone that you need to delete, right click, and you can hit delete from here as well. But I just click on it and use my keyboard. And this is honestly the most tedious part of creating the rhinestone templates, is when you have to make edits to it, because it can be a little bit time consuming. It's honestly therapeutic for me. I like it. So I don't mind. And I like the end result as well. Now what I'm going to do is actually start moving this part over a little bit. Just to make this O look a little bit better. And again, I'm just using the arrow key on my keyboard to kind of move that down. And same with this one, move this one over. And this is a pretty clean one, a pretty easy one. There will be some where you will have to put in a little bit more work. You're gonna have to do more edits. It'll be more time consuming, but don't get frustrated. Just take your time with it. Let's see. Can you use different color stones? Yes, yes, you can. So say if I wanted, now I should have actually did that in the beginning, made this a different color. If you, actually, let's see, thinking of the best way to show you that. I just have to find this image. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to show you how to do the multicolor and how to get it to cut as well. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff in here. I just got to find that one. And I was going to use the exact same template again, but now I have to find what I did with it. Let me just try searching this way. There we go. So that one. Okay, so this is the same one, the SVG that we started with in the beginning, and I'm gonna do the same thing, change my mat size or the media that's on the mat. And I just switch it back to 12 by 12. Okay, so same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and as soon as my computer catches up, delete that heart there because I don't want that on there. And then select everything and I'm gonna resize it. Okay, now first thing I'm gonna do is delete this 2023. Now, if you want to do this in multicolors, you will want to, this I may have to ungroup. Let me see if this is separate. Oh yeah, this is separate. So then you would just want to switch your color. So say instead of black, I want to do, let's go with pink. So that'll be in pink. And then say if we want to do the hat, let's do that. Now I'm not saying use these colors, green. That way, if you want to do a multicolored template, when you go to cut, you're going to select the, I believe it's the fill option. And I'll actually show you that really quick. What I'll do is just kind of a demonstration on this. This isn't one, I'm not going to do too many edits on this. So let's say we go here and wait for that to switch. Okay, so we have the green hat, the black heart, and the pink senior. So when you go to cut, when you send this to your mat, the way you would do it as far as having a multicolor template, once you click on send, and just wait for that to come up. Now I don't have any of my machines on. That's why I was going to say unavailable down here. And so we just wait for that. And you also want to make sure you have your image within your mat. Like this up here is kind of off a little bit. You want to make sure you have your image within the mat part, and then select your material. And then what you would do is click on fill. These buttons at the top, you have simple, you have fill or line, fill, layer. So then you'll have these 3 fill colors, and then you'll wait for your image here. And then what you would do is cut 1 color at a time. So another thing you could do as well before you do that is put a box around your image, and that way the image will be even, or it'll be exact on each piece that you cut. So let me go back here. I'm gonna select my image. I'm gonna move it down on my mat. Let's try that again. My computer's moving a little bit slow today. And so I'm gonna move this right here. So now I'm going to select a shape here. Let's go with the square. And I'm just gonna put a square box around my entire design. That way, when you cut your image, you can line it up as far as when you're putting your stones on there. And that way you'll know that everything will line up. And I need to move this just a little bit. Okay, so I just have this touching, so I want to make sure it's not touching. Okay, so we have our box and we have our image. So now we can go to cut. As far as we're done, we don't want to make any edits. Everything's good. It's exactly how you want it. So you'll come back over to your send panel or your send button, and then you would click fill up here at the top. Now you would select which colors you want to choose first. So this one here is going to be just the box. So you want to select that box, and then you will want to deselect the images that you don't want to cut right away. And just waiting while everything's thinking. And so it's going to cut this box. You see that's bold. And then it's going to first cut the black. And then you would send that to your cutter. You would cut that. And then once that's finished, you would just uncheck that color. And then you would select the next color that you need to cut. So once you're finished, you're basically, with this particular design, you would have 3 different templates. So you're going to have the hat, and then you're going to have the heart, and then you're going to have the senior. So now it has the box bolded and then the senior bolded. So it's only going to cut those 2 things, and then you would do the same with the hat. So that's how you would do multicolor templates in Silhouette Studio. So I just wanted to give you guys an example. I could tell you or show you better than I could tell you. Let's see. Hey, the crafty Puerto Rican. Thanks for joining. Okay, so hopefully that helps with the multicolor templates. I know I get a lot of questions in some of my comments and some of my videos, and I'm just like, ooh, I really can't explain that in a comment because it's going to be like a novel. So that's how you would do it. You would first have to switch your colors for your SVG. I mean, you could create it, and then if you haven't grouped everything together, then you could switch it. But normally, if you're ungrouping or you're releasing your rhinestones, you're going to have to group them back together, and it's going to group all as one. So I would definitely say if you want to create something multicolor, first switch your SVG or whatever the colors are that you want to switch within that particular SVG image, and then convert it to a rhinestone template. So I'm going to go back to the design I was working on. And that's this one here. Actually, that one looks good too. And even now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, the O on that one looks better than the O on this one. So I actually like this one better. Think I might have to copy and paste that. Oh, you're welcome, Latoya. Yeah, it's once you kind of get the hang of it, once you kind of mess around with it, you'll pick up. You'll definitely pick up. It was I think the multicolor templates is what a lot of people were having a hard time with. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually liking this one better. So I'm thinking about doing a copy, going to this one. Now see, I would actually have to start over because I already released the rhinestones on this and it's going to be grouped together. So I actually can't use this one, but what I am going to do and I'm just doing this because I'm using this kind of as a guide, but just to show you, if you try to adjust your rhinestone template, once you've created it, is going to mess your template up. So make sure you have your sizing and everything correct before you start creating your template. Otherwise, if you try to resize it afterwards, it's not going to turn out right, and you'll basically have to put it back to the size that you have it, or you're going to have to start your template over. So I'm just going to use this one actually as a guide for this one to make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to just select a stone, duplicate, and I'm going to use the keys on my keyboard. You can use your mouse as well, but this just works better for me. That way I'm not having to shuffle things around. Or when you use your mouse, sometimes you can't get it exactly where you want it. And so I like to use the keys on my keyboard. And I'm going to move both of these down a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking the multicolor one better too. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, Now, Kim, the reason why I'm making this one, I actually created this one last weekend, I believe, and I did not save it. I saved all my other ones, but this one for some reason, and I closed out. And when you close out, it asks like, do you want to save any changes? I was like, oh no, I saved everything. And then I went looking for this one and I didn't save it. I was like, so I have to do it over, unfortunately. And I'm just looking here. I'm basically looking at this one here as my guide. But yeah, I actually do like the multicolor better. I think, honestly, I might do that one too and save it and have that one as an option. I mean, I would actually do fill this out, finish this part here. But really, that's all that would need to be done on this one. And I would have to clean this up a little bit. But yeah, actually, I most likely will do that. And just edit this. So yeah, that will be a multi-template that I'll have available in addition to, I guess if someone just wants just the senior, just wants to do the one color, they'll have that option too. And like this R, well, I'm gonna finish working on this O first, and then I'll come back to finish the rest of the letters and clean up this cap and the tassel a little bit as well. Okay, and I'm just gonna move this around. I'm trying to create enough space so I could put one more right in here. So I'm gonna just move this over a bit. And a lot of times you're just kind of playing with the templates. You have to do a little bit of manipulation, moving things around to get it to look how you want it to look. And then once you have your finished look, then you just group everything and you'll be ready to cut. So same thing, I'm gonna duplicate and then I'm gonna drag this over and see if I need to make any adjustments. And this I'm gonna move over. I'm gonna kind of move these a little bit just so they're a little bit more rounded, at least like in this part right here. Hey Precious, how are you? Okay, so then and one thing about me is I always work on multiple templates at one time. I jump around from template to template. I'm going to try not to do that in this live, but that is something that I do. And as I see questions coming through, I might switch and start doing something else, but I will come back and pick up where I left off. Let's see. I'm finding it requires me to exercise patience. Harper girl, yes, it's going to it definitely is going to require some patience. I would say normally I have music going or I have something like kind of a movie on like my tablet or something or a series and kind of just have some background noise while I'm focused on making my templates. So it is a lot of patience, especially the images that you need to clean up. That SVG image, a lot of times you're going to have to clean those up, maybe a little, sometimes a lot. If you're typing out or creating your own image, you may not have to do as much editing, but you're creating it from scratch, so it's going to be time consuming as well. Yeah, especially Kim, if whatever their school colors are, that's a good idea. Precious, I'm good. How are you? That's what you do. Jump around all over. Yeah, I start working on one and then I'm like on to the next one. Same here. Great minds think alike, Sonia. And same thing, I'm still working with this O, trying to make it look a little bit better. And I could probably actually move this up here. There we go. That's what it was missing, that curve right there. And again, you don't want to get too close because that is really close right there. And I'm gonna move that up a little bit more and over. And yeah, that is actually looking better now. Now this R, let's see, you got the E and the R. The R isn't looking too bad. Might have to do a few different edits. Where is the best place to get your images? So Latoya, the best place to get your images, I know a lot of people go to Etsy. That is one place. Creative Fabrica. If you have a monthly subscription, you have access to thousands of designs. So Creative Fabrica, or you can go to Etsy. A lot of the sellers on Etsy create and upload their designs to Creative Fabrica as well. So I find it better on Creative Fabrica if you're going to be using a lot of SVGs, or they have different things on there. They have embroidery designs on there that I was able to get and actually make. They have all kinds of different images on there and different types of files you can download. So I would suggest that. I believe it's either, I want to say it's $5 monthly, but that's for the yearly subscription that they have. So I think what that's going to be like $60 a year or something, but it's honestly, in my opinion, it's worth it. Hi, Carol. Use both sides of the braid. Yes, I agree. Oh, yep, Amazon. That's another one. Yeah, to get different ideas. Um, those are mainly the two places that I honestly use. And sometimes I will look on Etsy and see if that design is, or if that creator is on Creative Fabrica, because I already have a subscription instead of paying for it on Etsy when I could just download it in on Creative Fabrica. You do have commercial rights, so you can use that image, to make your shirts to sell. You don't have to worry about nobody saying that you stole their image or whatnot. Okay, so now I'm actually I gotta fix this here. But if anybody else knows any other places you could get SVG files from, drop it in the comments. Those are the ones that I'm familiar with, that I pretty much use because I've had good experiences with. But if you know other places, or if you sell them yourself, let us know. Yes, Harper Girl, Creative Fabrica is, if y'all haven't used it, I think you could get like a 30-day subscription, or a 30-day trial subscription. So definitely check it out. Like, they have hundreds and hundreds of designs, journal templates, different things like that. Yes, Kim, me too. I always purchase or check Creative Fabrica first. Oh yes, design bundles. I completely forgot about them. Thanks, Harper Girl. Yep, design bundles is another one. Okay, so this hat won't be too much work. Knock on wood. Normally I say that and then it ends up being a whole process. So again, just clean up whatever you feel you need to, whatever you think looks good to you, how you may or excuse me, may or may not want your design to look, and just play around with that. Okay, and I'm gonna bring this one in a little bit right here. Okay, and that's good there. This is all good. I went to the mall and saw beautiful designs. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's like sometimes y'all I get just like that, I guess a creative block. And I'm just like, you know what? I give up. I just close the door to my craft room and I'm just like, nope, I'm not even going in there. Like, I'm over it. And maybe like a day or two later, it's like I have an idea and I'm like, oh, I gotta try this. But that happens to me all the time. And so I'll look on like Creative Fabrica. I'll, look on YouTube to get inspiration, or maybe TikTok or something like that. But yeah, those writer or creative blocks, they I have those a lot. Or it's like start working on something and it's just not turning out how I want. So I'm just like, I'm over it. And I leave the room. But yeah, going to the mall for inspiration, that's a good idea. But if I do that, I'm also going to be shopping. So that could be a good and a bad idea because I have a shopping habit that I'm trying to get under control. Oh, the Rhinestone World, they sell SVGs. I didn't even know that. Um, yes, so sorry, I'm late. Where do you make custom transfers? So I do make custom transfers. You would just have to email me. But now I'm just creating I have some SVG files that I'm converting into Rhinestone templates that you can create transfers. You can get a free design daily sometimes from the Rhinestone World, Dawn. I didn't know that. Okay. Me too, friend, because I would go in there for inspiration and I would come out with bags. So it's like, and like the mall is literally right down the street within walking distance from me. So that could go be good and bad. But yeah, I can see where you can get inspiration. Actually, there was a store I went into, and that's where I got the inspiration to make those rhinestone jeans, because I seen they had the chains on a pair of shorts. And you know how us crafters are, oh, I can make it. So instead of buying the shorts, I figure I'll just buy the chain, buy a pair of shorts, or use a pair of shorts that I have and make my own. But yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. These certain fonts for transfers. So if you're going to be creating one, you can use different fonts. I found the best fonts when creating templates from scratch is to use more of a like a bubble style letter, a block style letter, something like that. And I'll be doing one of those shortly as well. I'll slide that in there too to show you some fonts. And that's another thing on Creative Fabrica or the font, DAFONT.com. You can go there and get free fonts as well. And then you just download them, but you would have to close out of your Silhouette Studio software and then open it back up for that font to be in the software. Yes, that's the best thing. It's like it's so fun. Carol said, be careful with Silhouette Studio Design Store with Rhinestone Designs, as the designs are mixed size. You know what? I've never even used the store for Rhinestone Designs. I'm gonna have to try that. I never even thought about that. Thanks for that suggestion, Carol. And she said, be careful because the designs are mixed sizes. Oh yeah, Harper Girl. That's what I've started learning. I'm actually doing the 30-day trial, but because I have a Mac, I had to download. I already had Corel Draw, but I also had to download another software parallel so I can use a Windows environment. But I was still able to use the software on my Mac, which I was so happy for it because I'm like, okay, I gotta buy a whole nother computer just to use the software. But no, you can use it with Mac. You just have to, there's a few additional steps. But yeah, the wizard is really good. Um, oh yeah, the denim jackets, Sonia. Yes, the denim jackets. Let's see. Need to learn transform a panel to adjust to proper sizes. Okay. I'm just reading you guys' comments here for a second so I can answer them as I'm going. Okay, need to learn to transform. So, are you, Carol? Are you speaking about the rhinestone panel here as far as the different sizes you can use within Silhouette Studio? Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, there's actually some local bands that I'm going to be doing some designs for. One lady that usually performs downtown Las Vegas, I made some things for her. So, yeah, the custom and the denim, people will pay good money for. Oh, Sonia, that's good. They ordered more. Oh, if you want to change the sizes. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you would basically have to create your image as far as how I was showing. I'm not sure if you saw earlier when I did the multicolor template. You would basically have to select that part of your SVG image and then size just that part if you want it to be different sizes or mixed sizes. Yeah, Silhouette Design Store. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Yeah, Coral Draw and the Rhinestone World Wizard. That's some amazing software. Um, I loved your jeans and patch. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, those were fun to make, especially the patch jeans. Those turned out really good. Dawn, yes. Hey, neighbor, I am in Vegas. I didn't know that. Okay, Matt gives the best tutorials. Yes, he does. He really does. Okay, so I'm still kind of working on this. Oh, y'all, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm just trying to make it kind of more bubble ish looking because that's not what it's giving, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's Oh, okay. I'm Henderson near the water park, Sunset Station in Green Valley, that little area over there. Mm, just looking at this here. Let me move this one back and up. Let's see, should I delete that one or should I keep it? I could probably. I'm gonna move this out a little bit more. Hey, we got another Vegas, Las Vegas. Okay, Kim. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just looking back through the comments here. We're gonna have to get a Vegas craft meetup or something going. I didn't know there were so many of you guys that are, or a few of you guys that are in Vegas. And so now I'll come back to the O. I've just kind of moved on over to the tassel, finish everything else up, and then I'll finish kind of rounding out that O, and then I will be good on that one, and then go to the next one. Yeah, you guys, for sure, for sure. Are you guys gonna, the winery, the Vegas Valley Winery is doing a craft fair next month, the last Friday or the last Saturday and Sunday of the month. Okay, I can actually probably use my mouse for this. And this is just the tassel part. I'm just kind of playing around with that, make that look a little bit better. Dawn, so you want us to bring I'll bring my tablet and we can create some designs over some cocktails at Dottie's. uh, Carol's in Ohio. Where are the rest of you guys from? I think Virginia in there. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Yeah, Dawn, if we meet up at Dottie's, we definitely will not end up crafting. I can tell you that. That will go a whole different route real fast. And it was so packed downtown. We went down there on Friday on St. Patrick's Day. I think, yeah, Friday was the St. Patrick's Day. It was ridiculously packed. And so for anyone that's joining, I've actually released the rhinestones on this image and just doing some editing to clean it up. So that's where we're at right now. And if you're watching on the replay, let me know where you're from as well. We might end up having some more Vegas people, more than we know. Illinois, okay. Milwaukee, Vanessa, that's my hometown. I was born and raised in the Washington Park area. Okay. Got MD, Virginia. Nice. DC, North Carolina, Alabama. Got Georgia. Wow, you guys are from all over the place. Oh yeah, definitely got to come to Vegas. Definitely have to come to Vegas, especially if you have family here. Columbus, South Carolina. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Born and raised. So I've been living out west since the end of 2010. So I did live in Arizona for a couple years. Then I came to Vegas, but originally from Milwaukee. Dade City, Florida. Okay. Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. So let me finish this O right quick, rounding this out a little bit. And then I'm going to go on to the R, and then I'm going to group this image back together. And then get that multi-template. I'm going to actually save it and just cut it out later. But thank you, Kim, for that idea. That was a good idea. So they can switch up the school colors and whatnot. That's a really good idea. Okay, and just about done with this one. Just kind of messing with this O a little bit. Brooklyn, okay. Oh, SoCal. Marissa, you're over in SoCal. I come over there a lot. Chicago, okay. Dayton, Ohio. I definitely will. It'll be in the summertime. I not coming there in the wintertime, Vanessa. I don't even have a winter coat for one. But I will definitely do that. Okay, see? Okay. Um, do you feel Creative Fabrica is better than design? So, well, Creative Fabrica is kind of like a marketplace for, I guess, designers and artists to sell, or not sell, but well, if you don't have a subscription, you do have to purchase. So I guess sell, or for you to get commercially licensed SVGs, t-shirt designs, embroidery designs, artwork, things like that. Now, between Design Space and Silhouette Studio, I honestly prefer Design Space. I'm sorry, I take that back. I prefer Silhouette Studio, not Design Space. I've had Design Space crash on me so many times, or just stop cutting in the middle of a cut, and have not really used that. The only time I'm really using Design Space is if I have all of my machines going, if I have a lot of orders or a large order for templates and I need to get a lot of things cut. But Design Space is good depending on what you're using it for. I'll say that. But I prefer Silhouette Studio over Design Space. I prefer Silhouette Studio probably as well over Scale 5. Um, Silhouette Studio and like the Wizard, the Rhinestone World software, there's no comparison there. Like that software they have is amazing. I'm showing how to make templates in Silhouette Studio right now just because it's more, I guess, budget friendly. The Rhinestone World software is going to run you about 500 and something dollars. Whereas Silhouette Studio, if you just want the designer edition, I want to say it's around 50-ish dollars. If you want the business edition, that's $100. So Silhouette Studio is a little bit more budget friendly. Design Space, you don't have the option to create rhinestone templates in there, so you have to use either one of these other softwares, Scale 5, Silhouette Studio, the Wizard, something like that, to create, save as an SVG, and then you can upload it into Design Space. Now, Design Space isn't a bad software, but I'm so used to using Silhouette Studio. The downside is where I could create a design in Design Space, say on my tablet. If I'm on the go and I just have my tablet with me, I can create something in there. Whereas Silhouette Studio, their mobile app is trash. And I've tried creating some designs in there and they didn't save, or like the app would close out. But when I'm using the desktop version of it, no issues at all. Yes, I can't do the code anymore. Sharon, newbie to rhinestones. Well, hopefully I answer your questions. If you just joined, then watch the replay and I go over the rhinestone panel. And I'm going to be working on another template in a minute too as well. Oh, Creative Fabrica has some free designs as well. Even if you're not on a subscription, that's good. I didn't know that. I I think I was watching another YouTuber, but she was actually making digital journals. And she went to Creative Fabrica, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I went on there and seen all the stuff that was there, and I immediately got a subscription. Cheryl says, I love to design in Silhouette Studio, but I take to Cricut to cut. I'm getting the Wizard as soon as I get my new laptop set up. Can't wait. Yeah, I highly recommend the Wizard. Yes, it's like if they could do their app the way Design Space has their app, oh, Silhouette would just like almost take over. But yeah, their app is just garbage. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Sharon from Philly. Okay. Yes, Cheryl. If you're a newbie, working with rhinestones is addictive. You will want to bling everything. You will have rhinestones laying in various places around the house, as well as pieces of cutout flock. I have some on my house shoe right now. Like that stuff gets all over the place, but it's a part of the craft life, you know. Okay, that O is good for me. And then this R, not too much I need to do for this. Let's see. Yeah, and I'll take those two out. Silhouette Gold cannot contain the studio. The features of the desktop. Yeah, that's true, Carol. That's true. I think Cricut's app kind of spoiled me once I did start using Silhouette Studio like a couple years ago, I believe. Oh, you did? Nice. Yeah, it's like I'll come in here and I'll say I'm only going to work on one design, or, I don't have a whole lot to do, and I end up making like 5 or 6 templates because I start getting ideas as I'm working on one. Then it's like, oh, well, let me go ahead and do the next. And even if you don't cut them out right away, at least you already have them made and then they're saved. And so they're ready to go whenever you need them. Now, as far as saving, I do save mine to the library, but I also make sure I save it to my desktop as well, just in case something did happen with Silhouette Studio or my files in the library. I have a backup. So I do suggest saving your images to your desktop, or if you're saving them to the Silhouette Studio library, I mean, eventually I would say go ahead and make sure you have a backup just in case. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, but you never know. You'd rather be safe than sorry. And we know how much time we put into making these templates. And so for that reason, I just make sure I always save mine in 2 places. Or the external drive. Someone had mentioned that earlier. The external drive, that's a really good idea. Okay, I'm gonna just move these up with my arrow keys so I can make sure there's enough spacing in between these, because these are kind of close, that one that I just added. So that's good there. Aprons, nice. So you put some rhinestones on some aprons? That would be cute. Yes, Carol, exactly. I agree with you 110%. I wish Silhouette Studio would have a better app for tablets, because it's like if I'm in the bed and I'm working, I want to work on a design. I don't want to have my laptop. I always usually have my tablet with me everywhere I go, so it's just like so much easier. Let's see this. I'm gonna just actually I'm gonna move this one back. Move that one back. And same, move this one back a little bit. And up. Okay, and then this N needs very little work. The S is good, the E is good, the I, the old R, we finally got all that. So really just this here, and that's really all good right there. Let me move that up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just making sure that nothing is overlapping. Actually, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And so I'm just gonna select all of these, do a right click and copy, and then I'm gonna do a right click and paste. And I'm going to have to delete some. I'm going to have some overlapping. Okay, so I'm going to go in and delete these ones that are overlapping. Never cut your templates if they're overlapping. It will not turn out good. So just make sure any overlapping stones that you go ahead and either delete them or adjust the spacing on them if you need to. And so I'm gonna add one more right below here, and just a right click and duplicate. And then I'm just gonna drag that down and then use the keys on my keyboard to move it to where I want it to be. Okay. So looks like we're good here. Wait for that to move down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's good. And then I'll bring this one down a little bit too. And I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate. So select your stone and duplicate and move it to wherever you want. And then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do, yeah, one more. One or two more, we'll see. And so as you can see, as I've been making this one, it's really just time consuming. But the same way I'm sitting here chatting with you guys, the time's going by. Normally, like I say, I'll have some music or something playing, or I'm talking to my husband or something like that. But just get something that'll kind of distract you from it being so tedious. Okay, so I think I am good. Actually, I want to add, let me see how this looks if I add a few more in here where the tassels are. I don't know how that's going to look. And same, duplicate. And I'm gonna bring that down a little bit and move it over as well. And then same here, duplicate, just so it wasn't that big space in here. Let me check out you guys' questions. Oh, a personal cloud. That's a good idea, Cheryl. So it doesn't take up so much. Yeah, especially with Apple products, their space is pretty much whatever it was when you purchased it. You can't really add any space to those. So that's a good idea for a cloud. What type of pressure do I use? Okay, so the settings that I have for mine, and let me just go back to this as an example because I have mine saved so I can tell you. Let me see here. Let me turn on the machine so the settings will come up. And I want to say the blade depth I have at 6. What is it? Blade depth 6. I'm just trying to remember my settings here because I truly don't remember. Normally it pops up, but it's not coming up with the information. Usually, oh, here it is. Okay, so it actually should be, I usually have mine between 6 and 7. So usually around 6, and then your force 22, your speed 10, and your pass is 2. So that way it'll do 2 cuts on that one hole to make sure it'll go through. If you're using Design Space to cut your templates, you want to use felt craft bonded as far as for your cut setting, and put more pressure, set it to more. So those are the settings: blade depth 6, force 22, speed 10, and passes 2. And then once you come into Silhouette Studio, usually there is a default one. Once you make any changes to it, it'll be a little pop-up that says save as, and you could save it that way. You always have those settings in there. And so I'm good with the senior one. And I will remember to save it this time so I don't end up closing out of Silhouette Studio again without saving it. And then I don't need that, so I'm going to delete that. And to get your image all back together, so you just want to go ahead and make sure you select the entire image. If you miss anything, any of the holes, that's how it's going to group. It'll group everything else but those. So make sure you have the entire image selected, and then you want to right click, and then you would just group. And then it'll give it a few minutes or a minute or so, and then it'll group everything back together for you. Now, as I was saying before, once you create your design, you cannot resize it. So make sure you have it at the size, the height, and the width that you want it at before you go and transfer it or create your rhinestone template. So make sure your sizing is where you want it. And now you can see that it's all grouped together. And that's the example right there. I didn't group these two with it. So see what happens? So I'm going to go ahead and hit my back arrow to move it back to exactly where it was. And then I'm going to regroup it. And really it's just those 2 or 3. So go back and group. So that is what happens when you don't select the entire image. So now when you move it around, everything's grouped. But now this is the size that I have to leave it at. I can't adjust this size at this point. Otherwise, it's going to not cut correctly. It'll be either too big or too small. The holes will be. So the next one, and I have this one, that one of the designs I'm actually do for the winery. And so I'm gonna go ahead and select, and I'm gonna make this bigger. Do it there, about a 9.6. And then let me blow this up for you guys, make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and then I have everything selected, and then I'm gonna just group everything together. And then go back. Well, I'm already in the rhinestone panel, so then I'm gonna go ahead and select the edge fill and see how that looks. Oh, that one actually looks pretty good. We have a few that are overlapping here, here, and here. But I love it when SVGs convert that easily. Let's see. Okay, yep, exporting to the external drive. Oh, yes, Sonia, yep, the external drive. Oh my gosh. Yes, it does. I started cleaning up my files and moving my downloads into folders, and then I usually do it maybe like twice a month. But yeah, it's a lot. When I first initially had to go through and kind of sort everything out. Let's see, did I miss any other questions? So, Sonia, I save in two places. So, like with this one, but yeah, I normally use some type of block style, or one of the ones that I use is Impact. That's in Silhouette Studio. That's a good one if you're going to be typing something out on your own. I'm gonna have to check them out, Sonia. I didn't even know they had their own funds. I knew they had like the flock and the software and rhinestones, but I never even really searched for their SVGs. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So you said they can be resized. Yeah, you can. You do have a little bit of room once you create it to move it just a little bit, but then it'll start to distort eventually. So you definitely want to be careful, especially if you're going to be uploading into Design Space. But yeah, you do have a little bit of room. Let's see, what else did I miss? Cheryl, actually both. More so I use the mat and just peel it off and then scrape off the mat. But you can also cut with the backing paper on there. I normally don't. But I have. I just wanted to try it to see. I initially thought it might cut through the paper too. My first one did because I believe I had my blade depth too sharp. The second time I did it, it came out fine. Let's see. What's a good size for templates? Latoya, that is gonna depend on what you're creating. Maybe if it's a custom order, the size shirt, will it be a small or is it gonna be like a 2XL? So usually small, mediums, I would say normally like this template here is a 9.9 by 8.7. I can use that for a small or a medium. I could actually probably use it for a large, but definitely a smaller medium. So I would definitely say maybe if you're working with like extra large, double X, you might want to go size it up to maybe 10 by 11 ish, somewhere in there. And well, you don't have it in here, but in the Wizard software, you can do mock-ups. You can also maybe try it on a mock-up software as well, just to see on the t-shirt if the placement is going to be how you want it. But it's really going to depend on the size of the shirt. 6 by 8. That's a good size. A good rule of thumb, yeah. Because it really depends too. Is it just a phrase and you're putting it right at the top, or is it like, something that's gonna be really big? Oh, that's why you stopped saving it to your desktop. Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, it'll definitely slow your computer down. Yeah, I have so many. Like, it's ridiculous. Is this design going to be available? Yes, actually, it's this design is going to be available, and then this is just the one color, and then it'll be a multicolor one as well that will be available. So both of those will be options. Um, yes, ma'am, it will be. And I'll make sure to put my website up there for y'all. What pressure do you use when you cut without the backing mat? I would use a 5 or a 6 if you're cutting. Wait, if you're cutting without the backing. Oh, if you're cutting without the backing and you're using a mat, I would use like a 6 or a 7. If you're cutting and you're just using the backing, I would use probably around a 4 or 5, probably a 5. And then the same other settings would apply. You would just change your blade depth. I'm having a hard time cutting on my silhouettes. It keeps stopping when I cut my flock. Really? Is it stopping like does it even start cutting, Latoya, or is it actually like it cuts for a while and then it just completely stops? Yes, they have the best mock-up software that I have used so far. I've used a few different ones, but theirs is really good. Really, really good. Yes, 6 by 8, good for a size small for a woman shirt. You're welcome. Um, let's see, Sarah, are your rhinestones SS10? Yeah, pretty much. I think maybe I have a handful of templates, probably I want to say 4 or 5 that are actually SS6. Normally, SS10 is pretty much the standard that I use for when I'm creating my templates. But I do have a few that are SS6. And then when I'm making hat images or designs for hats, I usually use SS6 just because they look better because the templates are so small. El Rucker, hey there. How are you? It starts and completely stops. It could be, well, you're not closing out of your software, or Maybe it could be something. How are you connecting your machine? Are you using Bluetooth? Are you using the cord that comes with your machine? Sometimes there could be something there. And then you also maybe want to check maybe your machine. Try this troubleshooting down here and see if that'll do anything. Let's see. Yeah, maybe if you're doing it Bluetooth, try doing it hardwired or using the cord or vice versa and see if it stops cutting for you. I haven't had that happen, only in with my Cricut machine, honestly. But try that and see if that works. Otherwise, try that troubleshooting button. Miss Phenomenal, I have not done any photos. I actually wanted to do one of a Rottweiler that I have a picture of. So I do want to try it. I just haven't done it yet. Um, Dawn's World of Babies and Crafting. So I'm going to put my link up there. So it's bedazzlednblinged.com. And then it's also on my, it should be on my main YouTube page. You can find it there, but it's bedazzlednbling.com. You're doing it with Bluetooth, maybe try it with the cord and see if that makes any difference. It really honestly shouldn't. I cut with both. So I would trying to think of what else. Unless you click on to remove that particular machine and then you would have to re-add it. So down here you could try closing out and then re-adding that machine with Bluetooth and see if that helps too. That might be an option. Bluetooth. El Rucker, I'm doing good. Yeah, this is a good one. Silhouette Studio, or try using this here to troubleshoot, or yeah, try reaching out to them. Um, oh, there you go. Or even try checking on their YouTube channel and see if they have a video on that too. That might be another option for you. Oh, that's a good question, Sam. Oh, you have to email them. Oh, yeah, that's true. The windows you have open, yeah, maybe if you have too much stuff open, true, that might be the issue. But yeah, check that. Try their YouTube channel. Try to do the troubleshooting down here at the bottom here and see if that'll help, or try removing the machine and seeing if you can re-add it, and maybe that'll help. Down here you would just hit that X and then re-add your machine. Okay, let's go back to the why not. Oh, and back to the question I believe that Sonia asked. So normally I do save it to my library and then I'll save to my hard drive as well. And I have a, as soon as I can find my folder, usually it pops up, but now it's not coming up. But normally I have a folder that I save it to, but I just can't find it right now. These are just all of my SVGs. But yeah, normally I would save it to my folder. It's somewhere to not be found. And then once you type whatever you want to and you have your folder, then you would go to your format right here and you would select your SVG. And then you would save it to your desktop that way. So I'm going to cancel out of there. It is blazing in here. I got to turn my fan on. Okay, so this one actually converted really, really good, y'all. So all I did was just click the button and it was good to go. Let me look at the radial fill and the linear fill and let's see what they look like. Oh yeah, that one looks pretty good. Still got, this one has a lot of overlapping ones and over here that I would have to edit, but not too much. And then a little bit up here and over here. Let's see how the radial fill looks. And the radial fill can sometimes take a little bit longer. Now I do like how these letters look. Would have to do some work here. Now I could play with the sizing and see if it'll look a little bit better if I size it down, or save me from having to do so much work. But no, it looks, oh, I changed that way too big. It should be 0.15 or 0.015, and I had it at 0.15. So let's fix that back. I don't have an Etsy shop. I do have a website. I'll put that up there for you. Actually, that's my email. There you go. So it's bedazzlednblinged.com, where I have some digital templates on there. I have the regular physical templates. I have patches, on embroidery patches, iron-on patches now, as well as tumbler wraps. Silhouette School is a good reference for problems. So try that one out too as well. Cheryl said she used the chat feature for help on silhouette with great luck and faster than hanging on the phone. So that's an option. Hey, Jennifer, how are you today? Yes, the kings and the queens in the chat. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, you guys hit that like button for me. I appreciate y'all. Oh, Lolo, you're welcome. I try to share as much as I can with you guys. I know I get a lot of questions in my comments, and sometimes it's just too much to answer in a comment. So I'll normally just do a video if it's something that I really need to explain. I use linear radio in some designs sometimes, since some things look better. Yes, it seems like the radial fill is more if you have something with a curve on it. that it ends up looking better. So this one, I actually do like this edge fill a little bit better, or the outline. I liked how that looked. And so this one's gonna take just a little bit of cleaning up. Really here, let's see. I just need to fix that there, and then these overlaps, and fix this in right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, once I got the entire image selected, and same steps as before, I'm gonna hit release rhinestones, wait for those rhinestones to release so they're individual. Jennifer, you're crafting today. What are you working on? Okay, I'm still just waiting for this to ungroup everything. And the bigger the image, the more the detail, the longer it's going to take. Usually it's less than a minute. But I do have quite a few other ones open as well. So I hope I was able to answer a lot of your questions. I know some of you that came in a little bit later, you'll be able to watch it on the replay. But I'm just kind of going over the rhinestone panel, showing you what you can do in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to be working more in the Wizard, so I'll probably do another live showing that. Now, I'm by no means an expert in that one compared to me being in Silhouette Studio. I definitely have worked with this software a lot longer, so I know a little bit more about it. But I will definitely get on a live, and we can go through their software and show you what I've learned so far. And so I have a lot of stones overlapping. That's what I'm going to have to clean up here. You're blinging, Jennifer. Mugs, coasters, a flash bottle or flask? Oops. Let me bring this over here. And then, and more mugs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on some mugs for this craft show. You're welcome, Harper girl. I'm glad I can share what I've learned over the years and what I continue to learn. Being a crafter, as you guys know, you're always learning, or you're always trying something new. So even if I don't get it right, I'll keep practicing until I do, then I'll show you guys. So this one has quite a few overlapping stones. So, and I'm going to delete all of this because I don't really need all of this. I do think, well, I want to say, is the Wizard easier? It's not as much of a learning curve. I will say that compared to maybe scale 5, it's definitely a lot easier. Compared to high fixed error, it is way easier. But yeah, it's pretty simple. They have a couple videos. Matt does one. He has like an hour and a half video on their YouTube channel where he's kind of showing all the different features. And then there's another guy, I forgot his name. He does one specifically on the rhinestones, and it's like an hour long, and he kind of covers a lot of information in that video. I mean, there's still more to do with it, but that video will definitely help get you started. I actually had that tutorial up on one screen. I had the software up on another, and as he was walking through his tutorial, I was doing everything that he was doing, in so that way I could be hands-on, and that way it would stick and I could remember it easier. But I honestly say it's not that bit of a learn or that much of a learning curve. It's just more costly. Let's see. So I'm going through and deleting this, and then I just got to clean up a little bit over here and the bottom of this W, and that's really it with this one. This one isn't going to take a lot. Group, well, group, and then make the word not a compound path. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Ungroup, weld, group, and then make the word not into a compound path, and then turn it into rhinestones. Thank you, craftable things. And you won't have overlapping stones. There you guys go. That's a good piece of advice there. See, now I'm wanting to just scrap this one and start over instead of going through and deleting one by one. Let's see. Sarah, Sean, are there any crafters in San Jose, California that you know about? Connect with them. Anybody in the California area? I saw someone earlier that said they were in SoCal. Oh, is it? Okay. I'm gonna check that out, Sonia. I probably was just trying to do my thing and didn't realize it. But I am in the trial free. I'm still in the 30-day free trial. But I'm glad that Craftable Things shared that information, because I have some more to do. So I'm going to try that one on my next one. Thank you. Because yeah, this takes forever. Let's see. I like silhouette. I use scale 5 or scale 6. Okay. For your brother. I work in scale 5 too. It's okay. I like it. I mean, it's not bad. It's kind of a preference. Just like if you prefer the Wizard, or if you prefer Silhouette Studio or Scale, it just depends on your preference, really. Okay, Sarah, looks like Cheryl is in Berkeley. So the Facebook group is Bling and Crafts. Let me type that in the chat. Should have had my overlay ready for that. And it's going to be, I'm going to add it to the chat for you. Is it? Yeah, DJax. So it's going to be, just trying to remember, I just changed the name. Bling and Crafts. So Bling and Crafts is a Facebook group. So make sure you guys join that group as well. You know, was that you, Sonia, that mentioned the photos? I have not done one. I do have one of a portrait of a dog that I want to try, but I have not done that. Has anybody else done any bling photos? And then you guys, that's the name of the Facebook group. Ungroup the different parts. Oh, let me go back and let me post this comment. So, Craftable Things said ungroup, weld, group, and then make the word not into a compound path. And then turn it to rhinestone. So that way then it won't be overlapping. Yeah, because this is, especially if you have a lot that are overlapping, it could take a while. But I have another image. I'm gonna try that on. And I think I'm getting so spoiled by the Rhinestone World software that you could just, click it and then you can either merge them or you can just move them and delete any overlapping stones. So yeah, that's probably where that's coming from. But yeah, thank you for that. Let's see. Okay, so Sarah and Cheryl, hopefully y'all can link up. And so you guys, is the 3 p.m. live on Sundays a good time? Because I'll probably start doing them a couple times a month in addition to uploading videos, and then that way I can answer more questions. And then I'm going to have to eventually link up with my Vegas crafters that are on here. I'm actually going to try this method here from Craftable Things on my next one. Cheryl, yes, great time. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I figured Sunday everybody's kind of winding down, and that way it's not too late in the evening where you still can't, sit back and relax a little bit, things like that. So not too early, not too late, because I'm not an early person. You will not catch me doing a live at noon. Lolo said it's a good time. Okay. So I'll stick with the 3 o'clock, and then I'll always post the notifications on in my community tab as well. I almost wanted to go back and start this whole template over, but I'm like, I'm this far in now, so why do it? Actually, I'm gonna just delete all of these. Great time as I work evenings. Okay, well, we'll stick with the 3 p.m. Pacific. I may do a 2 p.m., but right now it'll be right at 3 o'clock. Harper Girl, great time. Awesome. And so, yeah, maybe the next one I'll work out of the Wizard. So you guys that weren't sure about that or might be on the fence, I can kind of show you what I've learned so far. Again, and we might be learning some things together, but that way at least you could see the software. Yes, it's nice to see the craft community on YouTube is as helpful and friendly, and everybody just wants to teach or learn from each other. TikTok, on the other hand, is kind of hit or miss, but yeah, YouTube has a really great craft community. And we'll probably be wrapping up in a little bit. I don't want to hold you guys for too long. And then I also need to do some updates to my website and some other things as well. And then check out some other YouTube videos, of course, see if anybody else is going live. Carol, yes, definitely get the trial first. And just to make sure you like it. I don't see why you won't. It does have a lot of options in there where if you're doing rhinestones and maybe sublimation or rhinestones and vinyl, you can do a lot in that software. So I really like it, but definitely do the trial and see if it works for you. I would say watch those couple of videos that they have on there regarding the working with rhinestones, and they have other videos showing how to work other aspects of the software. I just felt like when I learn a new software, I go for what I need to know at that time, and then I kind of learn everything else from there. And the mock-ups in there is really good. The invoices in there, they're really good. So there's a lot of good features in there. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to add another stone in here. It's going to be too close. I can already tell unless I do it like that. So just kind of move this down a little bit, and I'm going to move this because that's actually touching a stone, and that is what we don't want. Okay, so that's good. Okay, Kim, I will, once I get off the live, I'll go through it and accept everybody that joined. And here is the Facebook group, you guys. And it's not just rhinestones in the group either. So if you sew or you do any other type of crafts, you are definitely welcome to join. It's kind of a all-around craft group. I have people in there that make glam, like wine sets, wine bottle sets, and vanity sets and things like that. So it's just really nice. And I get a lot of inspiration from there too. Just some of the things that I see people making, I would have never ever thought of myself. This I'm just moving a little bit so I can fix this spacing here. And this one was a pretty easy one, except for having to go through and delete all that. but it's got some good tips on how to avoid that for the overlapping. Okay, it's a good time. Okay, Sundays at 3-ish. Sublimate. Oh, yeah, sublimate embroidery. Yes, I have been going to town with my embroidery machine to the point where now I want a larger embroidery machine because I'm really enjoying it. I already knew how to sew. I just never, I had an embroidery machine years ago and I honestly never used it. And now all of a sudden I'm like, well, let me give it another shot. And now I'm hooked. And I just got to move these few over just a little bit to make sure everything is lined up. Okay, everything is good here. All right. And then I'm going to do the same as I did with the other template. I would select all and then I'm going to group everything back together. Okay, so that is good. And this will actually probably be the shirt that I'm going to wear when I'm at the craft fair next month. And it's not till the end of the month, but I'm actually starting to make everything. That way I'm not rushing at the last minute. So I like to, whenever I know I'm doing a vendor event, I like to start making my things. Like 1 week I might do shirts. The next week I might do mugs. The next week I might do wine glasses. So I'll kind of spend a week or a few days making certain items up leading up until the craft fair, which I found has been really helpful because I've been that person that waited to the last minute and I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get stuff ready. And so once I have everything selected, I'm gonna right click and hit group and wait for everything to group back together. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Carol, mine is a largest 5x7. Would love a bigger. Yes, yes, but I kind of went to town with the rhinestone. Yeah, mine's is only a 4x4. I wanted to kind of get something, on a little bit on the lower end just to see how I liked it, if I liked it. Is it gonna be something that I use for maybe a couple weeks and then like, and it just be another piece of equipment I bought. But I'm actually enjoying it. I did purchase the repositional hoop. I've been working with in Brilliance, trying to do my own digitizing. So I'll let you know how that goes. So far, so good. But I'm gonna try the repositional hoop so I can have a little bit bigger space to embroider on. But I mean, the patches I've made so far, I haven't had any issues. I don't feel like I'm too limited, but of course, I would like a bigger size hoop too. Looking at the, yes, the real com, uh-huh. and the Brother PR 1055X. Yeah, the Racoma. And it's crazy since I watched their live. I think they were live on Friday on YouTube, and I watched their live, and now all their stuff it keeps popping up on my Instagram, on my YouTube, on my Facebook page. I'm like, if these phones aren't listening to us, but yeah, I've been watching some reviews regarding the Racoma, and just to get a bunch of different creators' reviews, and I heard the machine was really good. But I'm not sure about the Brother PR. I have not done any research on that one. I agree. Yeah, having that multi needle. You know what? My craft room is limited too. I'm like basically off into another room. I have my sewing and my surgery machine, and then mainly storage in there. But yeah, I will find room for it. And Brilliance, yeah, I'm liking it. I just like I say, I'm trying to learn the wizard software of Brilliance. Like I'm doing a lot at one time, but so far in Brilliance is really, really good. Remove, remove the outline in your letters. This should add space between your dots. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Good idea. Yes, I have a Brilliance also. I have the PE 800. Love it. So, Dawn, what size hoops come with the PE 800? Does that do like a 5x7 as well? Yes, these are going up the wall. I have shelves in the garage at this point. I'm like, pretty soon I'm gonna have to knock down a wall up in here just to get more space. You're not joining on the embroidery wagon. Oh, fused glass. Wow. So with the rhinestones and all my paper crafts, no can do nothing else on your plate. Yeah, that's how it is. And a lot of times I think it's just as a crafter, you just want to try it and do it yourself, or have that experience so you could share it or the knowledge or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. I also need to save this one. Make that back a line. Oh, the reposition hoop as well. Okay. Oh yeah. See, and yeah, I kind of want a little bit bigger space, but for right now, just for the iron-on patches, I'm okay with the 4x4, um, and the one needle. I mean, especially if you have a multicolor patch, is gonna take a lot longer because you said you have to go through and you have to switch all those threads out, which is really easy. Like it takes me less than a minute to switch everything and use the automatic needle threader, pull it through, boom. It's on to the next color, but it's just having to, for the machine to stop, you change the color, and then for the machine to restart, and then if you have a patch or something that you're embroidering with 5 colors, well, you can end up spending maybe 40 minutes making that one patch. So it can be time consuming if you're doing more than, like, I would say 3 colors. Okay, well, I definitely still have to work on a few more, but it's almost, well, it is 5:30. We've been on here since right before 3, so I'm gonna get ready to hop off of here. I will be on. I will schedule the next live. We'll do another one probably next weekend. If not next weekend, the following weekend. And then we'll actually do, and then on that one, we'll actually make some from scratch, not using SVG files, but actually creating the images from scratch. That way you can kind of see the different fonts. And again, dafont.com, you can download fonts from there, DAFONT, as well as Creative Fabrica. You can download fonts from there as well, and as well as SVG. So for those of you that did ask about the different fonts and SVGs, design bundles, as someone had said, the Rhinestone World has SVG files as well. Oh, SE 1900. Nice. Yeah, I'm like, now that I have the one that I have, I'm like, okay, I need a bigger one. But at the same time, I know I don't. P800 is 5S7. Okay. If you get one, SE 2000 is the best. Oh, Wi-Fi function. Oh, nice. Okay. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna have to look into that one. SE 2000. I'm definitely gonna give that one a try, Carol. Yeah, the changing of the colors. I mean, you kind of get used to it. Like normally, I'll be creating transfer or templates or cutting, and then I'll have the embroidery machine going, and when I need to change a color, I just jump over there, change the color, and get back to doing what I was doing and let it do its thing. So that's a good thing about the embroidery machine. Once you start it, it does all the work. All you have to do is change out those threads. Thank you so much, Sean. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. I'm glad you are learning a lot. I'm glad my information has been helpful. We had a lot of experienced people in here giving good information. A lot of people I didn't know was here in Vegas that we have to meet up. And Vanessa, you're from my hometown. So thank you so much for watching. So everybody, I want you all to have an amazing week. I will post my next live in the community tab, but I do have some videos that I have to edit that'll be going up as well. So those will be coming this week too. But if you have any questions, you guys reach out to me. The Facebook group is Bling and Crafts. Make sure you go ahead and join that. And make sure you guys subscribe and like. I appreciate everybody for joining today on your Sunday afternoon. Oh, you're welcome, Sharon. I appreciate it. Okay, you guys, but the replay will be up. It depends on how long it takes YouTube to do its thing. And then, so if you have any questions or want to go back and watch anything, it'll be up later this evening, hopefully. Thank you, Sharon. Yes, you have a good night as well. And I will see you all in the next video or the next live. Good night, you guys. See you next time.